everybody. I'm Amy Aldendorfer. I'm the horticulture agent here at the Hardin County Extension Office. But today I'm helping out 4-H today because I can crochet, and I'm going to teach you some of the basic skills of how to crochet. But I wanted to let you know that you can also enter your item, or check out our website, which is down here at the bottom, and you will look under the needlework department and under crochet, and there's about 6 or 7 different items that you can enter into the county fair or enter into the state fair, but it gives you all the requirements that needs. So we're not going to list them here because every age group has their own categories, but there's lots of things that you can enter. So if you feel that you like crochet, we're going to give you a little taste of, you're going to get your little crochet hook, and you're going to get a little ball of yarn to practice. But if you like crochet and you think that this is something that you'd like to do, check out the website down here at the bottom, and then you can figure out what you can make for the county fair. We did a knitting video, so if you like to knit, you can also do that for the knitting too. So hopefully you'll follow along. You're going to be looking over my shoulder, so that that's what you're going to see. It's kind of hard to do it face to face this way, but then we'll get you set up. If you have any questions, my email is going to be at the end of the program. So if you have a question, you can email me. You can call me at the extension office, and I'll put the number at the end of the video, so you can do that. But hopefully you'll learn how to crochet, and we'll get together and do some crochet. Now we're ready to start our crochet. I've got my yarn in my hand, in my left hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to crochet with my right hand. The first thing we need to do with the crochet is to make a slip knot. So I'm going to put the crochet hook down because it's easier to do it without. And I've got my yarn, I've got the tail, which is the end, in my hand. I don't need a very long tail for crochet, which is kind of helpful. So I'm going to wrap it around my fingers, and then I'm going to cross it over in the back, and I'm going to take that what's still attached to the ball, and I'm going to pass it underneath, and I'm going to pick up a loop. Can y'all see that? And then I'm just going to pull the tail down. I've got a giant loop on my yarn, so I'm going to kind of tighten it up with my other hand. I just held the knot. I'm not pulling it too tight because I need that yarn to kind of slip through. And then I'm going to take my hook, and we're going to do a couple of stitches today. For the basic crochet categories, you only need to know how to do about 4 stitches, and they kind of build on each other. So I'm taking the yarn, and I'm going to kind of snug it up. Now the cool thing about these crochet hooks is that they have a little flat place, and that will kind of measure how big you need your loop to be. So it should slide pretty easy on your crochet hook. Now, we're not going to do anything with the tail. Don't crochet with the tail. And however you hold your yarn is how you hold your yarn. There's no right or wrong way. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the chain stitch. And the chain stitch is the foundation of your crochet. So it will tell you to chain 5. So a chain is pretty easy. You're going to yarn over, which just means you're going to put the yarn over the hook. You're going to pull your yarn through the loop, and you've got 1 stitch. We don't ever count that stitch that's on the needle, or the hook, sorry. I'm getting confused. So I've got 1 chain. I'm going to just count. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I had 5, it said, chain 5, then that's what you would do, is chain 5. I'm going to put like 5 more on here. I'm going to go kind of fast. Okay, then 3. I always count out loud. 4, because sometimes there's people that want to talk to you while you try to cast on or chain. So I've got chain 10, and then and you do that for however long. If you're making a blanket, you're going to chain a lot. If you're making a washcloth, you may chain 20 or you may chain 30. This also is a good indication of how big your piece is going to be. So my piece is going to be a very skinny little scarf because I only have 10 stitches on here. So, can you all chain? you can stop the video and you can practice chaining. As a kid, I used to chain all the time. I have miles of chain. I would take my whole ball of yarn and make chains. The cool thing about crochet is because if you mess up, you can just undo one loop at a time. So there's really not an issue with that. So here, let me put my 3 stitches I took out back on. And maybe they were too big or they were too small. But you want to give enough room. If you're not sure, kind of pull it down this way and make sure that it can go over that little flat piece. Okay, so I've got 10 chains. Whew. The first stitch we're going to learn is the single crochet, and that's the basic crochet stitch. So I'm going to go into the, can you see I've got little loops on the back here? I've got little V's on the front. See, that's a V stitch right there. So when I crochet the first row, I like to go into these little loops in the back. Now I made that stitch really big just so I can maneuver my hook. And I'm going to stick my crochet hook in that loop. Tighten it down a little bit. Chain loosely. So, and then a single crochet is just you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. And then you're going to yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops that are on your hook. So I'm down to 1 hook, or excuse me, 1 loop. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go through my little bump on the back. I'm going to pick up the yarn with the hook and pull it through the loop. So I've got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through 2. So now I have 2 single crochets on my project right here. Here's my bump. I'm gonna put, sometimes you got to get a little forceful. I'm going to yarn over and pull through. I'm going to go over and pull through 2. That one got a little big. Okay. I'm going to finish up. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. It's a single crochet. I got a big old wad of yarn over here. Okay. Let's see. The reason I like this first row to go through these bumps is because when you finish, I'll just turn this little piece over, is you get a really pretty V-stitch on the other side, on the beginning side. Some patterns will tell you to go through the V's. That's okay too. You do what the pattern says. Alright, as we're single crocheting, I'm going to try to to the end. I've got 1 more loop. I've got 1 more stitch at the back. I'm going to go through that one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 1 more time. So I should have 10 little V's on the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that one's big, 9, and then 10. That one's kind of loosey. So what happens when you get to the end of the row? You're like, oh, done. Yes, you are with that row. So I'm going to chain 1, just like we chained at the beginning, and I'm going to turn my work, because you're always going to work from the right to the left. Okay? So I've chained 1 and turned, and then I'm going to single crochet, but instead of doing the little loops, we're going to go into the V's. So can you see the V's on the top? Okay, so I'm going to find my V's. And sometimes you just got to pinch them. So we're going to slide through underneath both of the V's. I'm going to pick up that yarn, and I'm going to pick it up again, yarn over, and go through 2 again. So I'm going to go through. Sometimes you have to grunt to make your hook go through the yarn. So I pulled up a loop, yarn over, and pulled up a loop again. And this, as we go through the V's, this is kind of your, you should be getting into a rhythm. 20 to 25 stitches is a good starting place. I only did 10 because you don't want to watch me crochet all those stitches. And I will speed up. Go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And if you have to say that every time, that is okay too. And this one's a wonky stitch, so it'll be a little loose. And And here's our last stitch in this row. Now be careful, sometimes you need to make sure that you've got enough, you know, you do all the stitches, and sometimes that end stitch can be a little hard to find. So that's the single crochet. Now there's a couple other stitches that you need for your entry. You need a half double or a double crochet. So for a half double, I'm gonna do 2 chains, and then I'm gonna turn. So here's our stitch. We're still working into the V's, and you know what? I'm gonna show you the double crochet. So we're gonna chain 2, we're gonna yarn over before we go into that stitch, and we're gonna yarn over again and pull up another stitch. Now I've got 3 loops on my hook. Just like a single crochet, we're only gonna go through 2 at a time. So I'm gonna go through 2, and you're like, oh, I got 2 left. I'm gonna yarn over again and go through 2 a second time. So as you can see, this stitch is almost twice as high as a single crochet. So I'm gonna do it again. Yarn over. For a double crochet, I'm gonna yarn over 1 time. I'm gonna go through and pick up a loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 and pull through 2 again. So a double crochet means that you pull through twice. So we're going to yarn over, go in between our stitch, catch the yarn, yarn over again, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. Okay, yarn over, go through, pick it up, and you'll get the hang of this. This is pretty meditative work here. Yarn over. I will caution you to make sure that you keep your wrist kind of straight, because you can get some carpal tunnel damage if you're not careful. So yarn over, go through this one, pull through 2. The trick is to remember to pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. We'll speed this part up. Yarn over. Okay, last stitch. Yarn over, find that V, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Woo! Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's a pretty stitch. Can y'all see that?
Can you scoot it up just a second? There you go.
There you go. So there we go. So we have 2 rows of single crochet, and then we have a row of double crochet. I need to repeat double crochet and get back. So if you're going to do double crochet back, got it? I'm going to chain 2. Oops. Oops, I split the yarn there. That's not good. Did you see what I did? Stuck that right through there. Okay. So that's 1 chain. We're going to double chain 2 up the side, and we'll make, because it's a little different on the front and the back of the stitch tend to look a little different. So I'm going to double crochet back the other way. Alright. Okay, I finished, and you can see that the back pass is looks a little different than the front. Okay, now there's 1 more stitch I'd like to show you, because you can use it on your small crocheted item. So I chain 2, and we're going to do a half double crochet. How is that different from a double? Well, it's actually a little easier. It's a little shorter, but we're going to yarn over like we did a double, and we're going to go in our stitch, and we're going to pull up oops, how did I do that? Okay, yarn over, go back in, pull it up, just like we were doing a double. And this is the trick. With a half double, you're going to pull through all 3 at the same time, instead of pulling through 2. So we're going to yarn over, put our hook where our stitch needs to be, which is right under that little V. We're going to pull up a loop, and we've got 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. All right, yarn over, pull up another loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Oops. This is very splitty yarn. Hopefully your yarn is a little more tightly spun than this. There we go. Can you kind of tell that there's a little loop in the middle? Sometimes it's easier to tell with a little bit darker yarn. So we're going to pull up 3 loops. We got 3 loops, and then we're going to pull through all 3. Yarn over, go through our stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. So here we go. So half double, half double. The cool thing about crochet is that they have a lot of different stitches, so this may be a craft that you like because you can learn all sorts of different stitches. Knitting is just a repetition of knits and purls. But then crochet they kind of build on themselves. So you have a single, you actually have a half double and a double. I did them out of order because I thought it'd be easier for you all to see. And then I'll just chain up 1. Do I have, nope, I did all the stitches. Let's see if we have the same number of stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do we start with 10? Yes. Yay! If you find that when you count your V's, oops, there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. If you start getting less V's, then you're not picking up that last stitch at the end. You need to really make sure, because this one looks a little funky, that you've picked up that last little V stitch. Otherwise, instead of having a really nice straight scarf, your scarf will start to kind of come to a point and you'll lose your stitches on the ends. So here at the base, or here, can y'all see that? I'll make my loop really big.
I'm gonna zoom in really tight.
Okay, got it?
Yep, it's
Okay.
filling the whole screen.
Awesome. So down here we have our chain row that we chained, and then we did 2 rows of single crochet, we did 2 rows of double crochet, and then we did a row of half double crochet. And I'll just flip that over and you'll see that on there too. So we have single, single, double, double, half. And if you kind of go ahead, you can do a triple crochet, which we won't show you how to do, but you can probably YouTube that or figure that out. There's lots of resources on the internet to find out how to do all the crochet stitches. But for the first project, those are only the 3 stitches that you need to know.